Hello, everyone, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Sports Talk in the Burgh. I'm Sam Anthony, and alongside me is Colin Wilson and Ian Kiss. On this show, like the title suggests, we'll talk about sports from all around the city of Pittsburgh. That does include Robert Morris University Colonials, along with some other major topics from around the country. We have a great show for you tonight, starting with the big game, the Super Bowl. The number one seeds in the AFC and NFC conferences have fought their way to Santa Clara, California for the battle of the 50th anniversary of the biggest stage in football. We decided to go outside the studio to find out how Robert Morris students see this matchup turning out.
I'd say the Panthers because Cam Newton's just a better quarterback.
I think that the Panthers are going to win the Super Bowl because Cam Newton has been destroying everyone this year. There we go.
I think the Broncos will win.
I think the Panthers are going to win the Super Bowl. I think Cam Newton's been really good all year, and I really hope he gets to bring home the trophy this year.
Who I think is going to win the Super Bowl? I think the Denver Broncos are going to win because I personally believe it's Peyton Manning's last year. I think he's going to go big out. He's going to go big. Probably going to win big score to little score. I think they're going to shut down Cam Newton and his offense. So I have hopes on the Denver Broncos.
Now, if anyone had told me week one that it was going to be the Panthers and the Broncos as both teams, the number one seed, I would have told you you're crazy. Now, guys, who do you have hoisting up the Lombardi Trophy this year?
I have Denver, and just like the guy said, the student said in the video clip, it is Peyton's last show. He needs to go out on the last game. He has to go out on top. He has to have that urgency, and I think the whole team has that urgency, knowing that's going to be his last game. And they got on top of the Patriots, and they kind of made it look easy. I know their defense led up and let the Patriots back into the game at the end, but this Denver Broncos team looks like they are determined. They don't want to have a repeat of 2 years ago in 2013 when they thought that Denver thought they were going to kind of have an easy matchup with the Seahawks, and it was a blowout. I think the opposite is going to happen this year, and I agree with that guy in the video. I think it's going to be a big score, little score.
See, I disagree. I'm going to go with Carolina this year. Cam Newton, like they said in the video, has been unstoppable this year. 15-1 in the regular season, went into the playoffs, destroyed Arizona in the NFC and championship game. Josh Norman's been insane this year defensively. Just overall, Luke Kuechly's been crazy good. Carolina has not taken a step back, and to expect them to take a step back for just one game, you can't think that, especially against Peyton Manning, who struggled this year. This has been one of his worst years statistically.
Experience-wise, though, I think Cam's it's gonna catch up to him, and I think he's gonna probably face one of his biggest tests all season. And this Denver defense if they can take down the Patriots, I don't think they can take down. I think they can easily take down the Panthers.
See, a few years ago, Seattle went in and played Denver in a Super Bowl, and Seattle didn't have that experience. Russell Wilson, brand new at quarterback, and against Peyton Manning, and that was 43-18 or 43-17, I believe. So really, that has no bearing, in my opinion, in this game. Cam Newton, it's just of what the teams have done lately, and that's what Carolina dominating. But overall, I think Carolina just is a better team. Like Sam said, beginning of the year, I wouldn't have expected that with all the injuries they have with Kelvin Benjamin.
Certainly.
But really, they've just stepped it up. Ted Ginn's been phenomenal this year, 11 touchdowns.
All right, guys, so we're going to expand on this argument a little bit. We're going to talk about positions. We're going to generalize this, and I want you to look at areas like quarterback, defensive lineman, wide receiver, secondary. What do you guys think is the most important position to get a team to the Super Bowl? Colin, you're going to start.
I'm going to go defensive back. Now, as of late, you've seen guys like Josh Norman, who's played for Carolina, has been phenomenal. You see Aqib Talib, Bradley Roby, T.J. Ward for Denver have been great this year. And also, in the years past, you've seen Richard Sherman in the past two Super Bowls, along with Seattle's defense. They've just been crazy. Then you have Darrelle Revis, who played for New England last year, shut down Doug Baldwin in the Super Bowl. And then Malcolm Butler, you're watching it now in the Super Bowl last year with one of the biggest plays in recent Super Bowl history.
The Seahawks win.
I lost a bet because that play.
I mean, it's just a great play by Malcolm Butler, and that's what it really matters now is defensive back play against these quarterbacks and these receivers. So going into a Super Bowl like that, you really have to rely on your defensive backs to make plays against, especially Denver's receiving corps and Carolina's against Ted Ginn and Philly Brown.
All right, Ian, what do you think?
I'm going offensive. Thinking offensively, I'm a strong believer in the quarterback. They run the team. The team is team's nothing without a QB. Steelers would have lost the 2009 Super Bowl if it wasn't for, like you see there, the toe tapping catch by Holmes, but the pass. That pass was on point, and then we're going to see Eli's pass. The man almost was sacked, was able to get a throw off and get it to where his receiver is, who caught it on his head. And if those two plays didn't happen, those two teams would have lost the Super Bowl, and we wouldn't talk about how Eli can dominate the Patriots. I just think that quarterback runs the team. You look at Landry Jones and Antonio Brown. Landry couldn't get the ball to Antonio Brown. Sanders, he can be a deep threat all he wants, but if his quarterback Manning can't get it to him, then he's useless. Your receivers are as good as your quarterback. So the quarterback is like the point guard. He sets up the play. He is the team. He has to be the leader. You can have a defensive leader, but the main leader of a team has to be a quarterback. And that's why I like Peyton Manning.
So I'm going to take you on that quarterback idea a little bit, but we're going to do it a little bit differently now. This game is about big name quarterbacks. You have Cam Newton, you have Peyton Manning. So if you could pick any active quarterback in their prime, who would you pick to lead your team to the Super Bowl and why? Ian?
I like him. I'm talking Peyton Manning again. I'm sticking with him.
All right.
Since between 2006 and 2014, over 4,000 passing yards every season. Only 3 times in his career, he has not accomplished that. And that was one in his first season and this season where he was injured. And he still makes it to the Super Bowl. 4 different Super Bowls with 4 different head coaches.
But he's only won one Super Bowl.
That's 4 different. I understand that, but that's 4 different styles. I'm a big fan of the records. He has career NFL passing TDs record of 509, single season TD touchdown record of 55. It was 209 for the Broncos, and more than 30 between 2004 and 2010.
All right.
So
Colin, who you got?
He has the stats. Maybe not the rings, but he has the stats.
We're going to get you in here.
I'm going to go Tom Brady. And it has to be because of the Super Bowls. He's 4-2 in Super Bowls. And unlike Peyton Manning, he's done it with lesser of a receiving corps. He did have Randy Moss that 1 year, but that's only 1 year. You look back, that's the only Hall of Famer he's ever had at the receiver position. Peyton Manning's had Marvin Harrison. He's had Reggie Wayne, the Denver corps that he's had while his stint as a Bronco. It's the difference between Tom Brady and Peyton Manning is the receiving corps, and I believe that Tom Brady's done better than Peyton Manning in that aspect of the game.
But if you want to compare the two quarterbacks, Peyton beats Brady in total TDs with 428, total yards with over 58,000, and Manning has total yards of over 71,000, and he has 5 league MVPs to Brady's 2.
But at the end of the day, Tom Brady has one.
But Brady has receivers though too.
Brady has receivers.
He has tight end. He's arguably the best tight end in the league and the best receiver.
He's only
in the
won
league
one
right
with
now.
Gronk though. He's only won one with Gronkowski.
But let's see now the question is, let's see if he can get there. Because he couldn't get there again this year.
He got there last year though.
He didn't get there this year though when the people thought that the Patriots were able to beat the Broncos this year.
And you know what? We're going to have to wait and see whether Peyton Manning can get that second ring. Right now, Brady's got the edge on him. But right now, we're going to take a quick break. Up next, we're going to continue our NFL discussion with a little bit of a Steelers free agency debate and a little bit of Robert Morris sports. More on Sports Talk in the Burgh coming up next.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Cheers. Take time to be a dad today.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute. You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
All right. Welcome back to Sports Talk in the Burgh. Before the break, we were talking about ranking positions, but now I want Colin and Ian to do something a little bit different. I want you guys to look at all the RMU head coaches, all right? Give me your top 3. All right, Colin, we're going to start with you.
See, at number 1, I'm going to go Derek Schooley. I think just so far he's had a tremendous year this year with Robert Morris Ice Hockey. Second, I'm going to go Andy Toole. Now, this year he stepped back a little bit productive-wise, but last year going to the NCAA tournament, that proved big. And third, I'm going to go Dale Starr.
Ooh,
now,
volleyball.
Exactly. Dale Starr made it, had his first NCAA tournament appearance this year and is continuously bringing his team up. Yeah. And with 6 freshmen on the team this year, it doesn't seem like he's taking a step back, or will, in anytime soon. So for years to come, Dale Starr should have a great women's volleyball program here at Robert Morris.
That's something that's great to hear. Ian, now your list is going to be a little bit different. What do you have?
The first 2 are similar. It's my third one. Number 1, though, Derek Schooley, men's hockey, currently holds a 15-7-4 record, has made the postseason the past few seasons, has that game against Minnesota in the NCAA tournament. He has 3 players right now that are up for the Hobie Baker Award for the best NCAA player in the country, and that's on the ice and off the ice. And he had one last year, a finalist, Cody Wido, who did, go pro.
Yeah.
And then second, I have Andy Toole. Since taking over the head coaching duties, he has never finished over 500. That's in jeopardy this season. But the notable win over Kentucky, and the following year, another notable win over St. John's, who they beat by 11. And then number 3, the women's basketball coach here, Sal Biscaglia.
All right.
You see him in the finals every year as well. You see him in the NCAA tournament. It's his last season. He's coached them to 12-9 right now, 6-2 in the conference. His recruiting, he gets players overseas, especially from Greece. I think his recruiting is pretty solid, and I think he definitely has to be. People say he's a women's coach, but who cares? He has the records. He's broken the records for most wins here at RMU. Yep. He's a great coach in NCAA women's basketball.
And guys, speaking of coaches, we want to get your opinion here on the new head coach, or new offensive coordinator, at Robert Morris University, Mike Miller. He's an impressive track record in coaching, both college and in the NFL. What's his impact going to be on the team, guys? Ian, start us off here.
2015, the offense only averaged 14 points a game, only over 116 passing yards per game. They didn't look fluent. They struggled. The defense was good, but the offense needs to pick up their game. In my opinion, it can't get any worse.
They had one of the worst offensive years in the history of Robert Morris
I
football.
I know they had injuries with their starting quarterback Mac Barr, which had to put in other quarterbacks. But then those quarterbacks, they had to evaluate what backup quarterback because they all struggled. But I think if you get Mike Miller to get a consistent quarterback, keep Barr in there, or if not, he'll help the other backups because that's their job is to come in. And he has, the great track record. He coached Larry Fitzgerald. He coached in a Super Bowl as an offensive, I think he was a receivers coach. at that time. But the guy has a great resume, and I think it was a bold movement to bring him back into the program from Coach Banaszak and the athletic department here. And like I said, it can't get much worse.
Yep.
They, baby steps. Will the offense be perfect next year? Probably not. It's baby steps. But he's definitely the guy, the motivator to get this offense to where it needs to be to compete in the NEC and possibly make the FCS playoffs.
Colin, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, with Mike Miller coming in, like Ian said, it can't get much worse. Last year they had 7 turnovers in a game. Now that is just horrendous.
That just can't happen.
Exactly. And you have Matthew Barr, you have Cole Blake, and you have Kyle Buss coming back at all as sophomores, and then you have Ramsey Owens as well at running back. You have offensive weapons there. Why they couldn't get anything done last year, I have no idea. But this year coming with Mike Miller, who, like Ian said, Coach Larry Fitzgerald, they should be able to get Kyle Buss the ball in situations to where he can make plays. They should be able to utilize Ramsey Owens and Cole Blake to go off of each other. And also Matthew Barr in a full season where he should be healthy, and now is a year under his belt in the program, they should be fine.
He has the ingredients.
Exactly.
I'll see if he can mix them together and put out a good product.
So we're going to take the switch here. We're going to switch back to Pittsburgh Steelers football. All right, and we're going to play a little game called Cut or Keep. The Steelers have several big-name positions of players heading into the free agency this offseason. Names like William Gay, Steve McClendon, Ramon Foster, Kelvin Beachum. So I'm going to give you a pair of each of those guys, and you're going to decide cut or keep.
Oh, we're going to play GM.
All right, so Colin, you're going to start off. Yes. You have Ramon Foster or Kelvin Beachum.
I'm going to cut Ramon Foster and keep Kelvin Beachum.
All right.
The reasoning behind it is because Kelvin Beachum, 26 years old, younger guy, coming off an injury, but he's going to be less cost-worthy than Ramon Foster, who was ranked 74th overall in top 100 NFL players. Now, with Ramon Foster coming, he's 30 years old. If you release him, you're saving money, and you're also getting rid of a player who you don't know how much he has left in the tank. With Kelvin Beachum, you're bringing in a guy who's 26. He's still on his way up in his career, and he's still able to progress and get done what you need to get done.
All right, awesome. All right, Ian, you're up, and it's going to be Steve McClendon or William Gay.
I think you keep Gay,
all right.
Cut McClendon. The secondary needs help. Gay is going to be that leader to help the new guys. Hopefully they draft one in the first round this year. I think Gay has that experience, and right now your secondary is hurting. You need to keep you need to keep a kind of a veteran in your secondary that can help you win. Your secondary was embarrassing this season.
But the thing is if you're going to draft a cornerback in the draft, why the heck would you get rid of your defensive lineman there? Such an important part of that line. That's really strong.
Because there's other cornerbacks that I think you can cut and then be able to bring in a draft and pay him the money that he deserves to help your embarrassing secondary.
All right, Colin, I'm going to give you 2 corners that you can pick between, Antoine Blake or Brandon Boykin.
That's a tough one. I'm going to get Boykin.
All right.
Now, I like Boykin. I've always liked him. Overall, I think he just has more upside than Antoine Blake at this point in his career. And like you said, they're going to go with a corner in the draft. It looks like, which their secondary has been horrendous.
Yep.
So overall, I mean, really, I don't think you can lose here. Yeah. You're keeping a defensive back regardless, but overall, I like Boykin.
All right, and from that, we're going to have to take another break. That's all the time we have for this segment. Next, we're going to look at some classic Super Bowl Media Day moments, and the guys are going to put themselves in some different shoes. Sports Talk in the Burgh. We'll be right back.
Ugh. These boys are my heroes. They come every week to spend time with my children.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
They can teach them something no one else can. Wisconsin. They're role models to the children, and homework comes way before sports. Their grades have improved, and their lives are just a bit richer.
Okay.
what they do for my kids is truly wonderful.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
I call them my lifeline.
People don't realize how quickly you can end up on the street. One thing happens in your life, medical bills you can't pay, you lose your job, and that's it.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
We went to DC to work with the homeless. They sell a newspaper called Street Sense. Thought I'd help.
But if you want to give more, you can.
This person came up to me and said, get a job. And for 2 hours, I felt what it was like to be homeless.
Good morning. $1 help on.
Some of the other students said, how can we change this? And I said, sometimes you can't change the world, but you may be able to change one person's world. My dream? Open a psych clinic for people on the street.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Talk in the Burgh. Yesterday was the NFL. However, live in infamy for all the antics that ensue. Guys, what are some of your most memorable media day moments? Ian, we're going to start with you.
I'll be honest with you guys. I'm just here so I won't get fined. Marshawn Lynch, last season, he showed up because he had to. The guy doesn't like talking to the media. It's something about they twist his words, so he has his opinions. But the funny thing was that the reporters kept asking him questions, knowing what his answer was going to be every time, which was, I'm just here so I won't get fined. The only time he broke that was when he saw somebody he knew and he waved to him. You say, hey man, what's up? Like that's the only thing he said that wasn't, I'm just here so I won't get fined. To me, nothing really tops that. That's my favorite moment.
All right, Colin, what about you?
Mine would have to be the Tom Brady with the media girl in the wedding dress asking for Tom Brady to marry her. Now, I just love this moment because it's such an odd moment for someone to show up and ask you questions and then ask you to marry her. Now, as Tom Brady, I don't know how I would play this out. I feel like, I feel great as a human being for someone to propose to.
Was he married at that point? Do we know?
You know what?
He
I
probably
do not
was.
know that, actually.
All right, he was.
So that obviously influenced his decision.
So that's even more funny because he's
Giselle
in a
probably
situation
said,
where
"Get outta here."
Exactly. Giselle's like, hey, she's watching at home. She's like, hey,
Come
this
on.
is a bad situation.
Hey, he said
Tom.
no.
So
He's all right.
exactly. So Tom did well.
Tom had fun with it.
He made the right decision. But overall, that's just a funny moment that everyone can remember and kind of laugh back on. But
I mean, would you have said yes if someone asked you to marry her?
you know
like
what?
that?
She was decent looking. But
If I'm single.
if I had Giselle at home, then I'd have to decline. I understand Tom Brady's decision on this.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to have a little bit more fun here. It's time for Ian and Colin to do some role play. All right, each of you are going to get to put yourselves in another player's or coach's shoes and tell them what you think they would do. All right, Colin, you're going to start off. What player are you?
I am Carson Palmer.
Carson, at your age, can you take the Cardinals to the Super Bowl?
Yes, I can. If you look, I had one of my best seasons production-wise, 52 touchdowns this year. Now, I know I struggled in the NFC Championship game. However, I believe that I can come back. I know I've had a few injuries in my time, but overall, if you look at my productivity, it has been top-notch, and I don't see me stepping back. I'm only 36 years old. I still have a few more years in me.
But Carson, that was a rough game against Carolina. Like, you still sore from that?
Yeah, I am a little bit, but I'm resting up. I have an entire offseason to work with Larry Fitzgerald and a few of my other teammates, and overall the defense was phenomenal this year. We have a lot of speed, and I believe that we can get it done next year.
All right, thank you, Carson Palmer. Ian, who do we have you playing a role as?
Men's basketball coach Andy Toole.
Now, Andy Toole, the team's had some struggles this year. What would you say where would you say the struggles originate from?
Selfishness. You see players get up. You watch the games on the court. You see players get upset not when the ball doesn't go in the hoop, but when they're not getting the pass, you know, and I brought light to that. My press conference after the loss at the Soul Center against Mount St. Mary's when we were down by 33 points at halftime. But to me, I'm a leader. That's what they pay me to do. I'm the men's basketball coach. I'm a leader, and I need to rally my troops and improve on our current 6-17 record right now.
And we really hope for that, Coach Toole. Thank you very much. And I believe we have Antonio Brown here to visit us.
Yes, we do.
All right. What we got for Antonio Brown?
Antonio, how do you need Martavius Bryant to help you next season?
Me and Martavius work off of each other well. Really, Ben Roethlisberger can facilitate the field with both Bryant and I, and really get each other the ball, which we can work off of each other. Then, you know, he opens up places for me on the field. I'm not double covered because of Bryant. And also having Le'Veon Bell back next year will help a lot because he's a great change of pace back. He can run the ball hard, and he also does a great job at catching the ball out of the backfield. So I'm really looking forward to actually using this season as a way of building on. I don't think this is my max year. I think that this is just a time to come.
All right, and I'm sorry, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this segment. We are going to wrap up the show here. We're going to introduce a fast-paced and my personal favorite, the lightning round. Guys, let's see how many questions you can answer to end the show. All right, Ian, I'm going to start off with you. The USA Today suggested that Malik Jackson from the Denver Broncos would be a perfect player to help the Steelers' defensive line become elite. Do you think that's a good move for the Steelers to pursue?
Looking at his stats, 5 sacks this season, 11 assisted tackles with 34 total tackles. I think he's going to help the defensive line, when we have to make some room to help our secondary out. Once again, I'm talking about the secondary. If they're willing to reach an agreement, he can't make the team any worse, can he?
I sure hope not.
So I think if the price is right for him, I say make him a Steeler.
All right, Colin. Chuck Noll was named head coach of the Super Bowl 50 all-time team. What are your thoughts on the honor?
You know, you gotta love it. He had 4 Super Bowls in his belt as a Steeler, and overall, you know, just Chuck Noll was a great coach who deserves that honor. I really respect the NFL's decision to be head coach of the Super Bowl 50 team.
All right. Colin, Ian, this is one for you for baseball. Francisco Cervelli wants an extension with the Pittsburgh Pirates worth $39 million over 3 years. Should the Pirates give Cervelli that big paycheck?
Pay the man.
Pay the man.
Seriously. I'm tired of getting catchers and good players, but letting them walk because we won't pay them. Maybe Russell's contract, he signed for $57 million. Pirates can't do that. But Cervelli's looking for $39 million over 3 years. Make the room. You're not bringing in a star-studded first baseman or bringing in someone else to replace Walker. Pay the guy. The guy wants to be in Pittsburgh. He wants to be part of this team. He wants to be the change of the Pirates in Pittsburgh. Pay the man.
All right. And Mike Sullivan is the topic for you, Colin. He's 9-7-4 in his first 20 games with the Penguins. Is he the solution that they need to be a Stanley Cup contender?
No, he is. He's. I understand the record isn't great. It's not what they want to see, but 9-7-4 isn't that bad. And it's still early. I mean, he's only been here for 20 games. So going forward, I think they've looked better. They've looked just more fluent on offense. And overall, I think that he is the answer.
All right. Guys, that's all the time we have for this segment and this show. So thank you all for watching, and tune in 2 weeks from now for more Sports Talk in the Burgh.